Ladies and gentlemen, Bungle. Hope you're doing well, and I hope you're having a great day. Today we're going to kind of kill two birds with one stone. We're going to talk about this new update that came out. The video is being published, should be published by the 8th of July, 2021. Basically, update 0.1.25.28. Now, as you can see right now, I'm kind of playing with the new Gunner's View or whatever that they have now in Enlisted. I mean, the Commander's View or whatever. So, if you're unfamiliar, the Commander's View used to be like this little tube thing you would look out of. Couldn't really move the turn around, couldn't really do much. So in this new update, I think it was like 2 gigabytes or whatever to download, you can now do that. Now you can switch back and forth. Honestly, the gunner sight's going to be more accurate. You know, in my opinion, if you're going to be aiming at longer distances, you want to go with the gunner sight. If you're worried about infantry kind of swarming you and everything like that, then you can switch to the commander sight. Now, you can't use the coaxial top machine gun from it. So if you're playing the jumbo or whatever and you're trying to get kills and stuff like that, you're going to have to expose your commander. Is it fair? I'm not really going to say. It kind of makes sense, though, if you're going to have a machine gun on top of, the turn of the tank and you're going to want to fire it, usually you're going to have someone on top of that, right? So that kind of makes sense, or someone using it. So, in that sense, game balance-wise, I don't really see an issue with that at all. Now, moving on with this big update, and I'm kind of going to throw in gameplay here of me playing Battle Berlin. I just kind of want to show my gameplay and my skill because, Bungle, you can say, make all these, claims and stuff like that about, being good at the game kind of deals with your equipment, which I strongly agree with, because if you try playing on, let's say, a game laptop with 60 FPS, I can't make that work. If I'm going to move from my laptop when I was evicted to playing on it, it's going to be a lot more difficult playing with like 60 frames per second or less, and with a low refresh rate. And my experiences with that is that there isn't support for lower end computers, which is kind of unfortunate. It's kind of like a gatekeeper from keeping people from playing the game. So as you see right now, I'm playing on my desktop rig, and RTX and everything like that on really does make a big difference in my opinion. Let's move on with this update, right? And, I'm just rambling. I think most people already probably just stopped watching the video. But let's go into it. So, improvements, right? So, we'll starting off with the first paragraph. For the first time in the Battle of Berlin campaign, in assault mode with some... I'm not going to say that because I'm terrible at pronouncing it. Basically, I'm going to add 2 capture points. So, if you've been playing other game modes like Invasion of Normandy and Moscow and stuff like that, if you're familiar with assault, it's basically like invasion, except instead of one objective, there's 2. Each team's got to, the invading team's got to capture both Alpha and Bravo to move on to the next one, and then the final objective is just one objective they have to capture. Definitely saw that with the Battle of Berlin of some of the maps. I forgot the name of one of the maps, kind of like a straight, narrow street, basically. That kind of helped that map out, just because, it's kind of crazy just playing the regular invasion mode. It wasn't the one with the bridge you had to cross and all that, and it wasn't the one when the Germans are attacking. It's the one when it's just like a straight street, there's trolley trains destroyed everywhere and everything, bunch of rubble. I think it was Hermann Göring's estate or Hitler's bunker, like that one. So they fixed that, and if that map remained assault mode, it would be fine. Actually, it was a lot more enjoyable playing that, whereas in the traditional one, it was insane with the amount of killing and everything going on. Like it was just a cluster. It was just insane. Additionally, the respawn window has been improved. Selected squads will no longer be reset if the selected spawn point is no longer available. So they kind of just fixed quality of life improvement. The respawn window, I noticed it a little quicker than usual, so that's kind of nice. It says tankers will be delighted with many fixes to armored vehicles and the implementation of a turret control mechanism from the commander's view. Many interesting fixes and improvements are included with the patch notes. So yeah, the tankers stuff, that's pretty cool. But you can't use a top turret. I think it's their way of adjusting kind of how the site used to be. The site picture used to be a lot. If you're familiar with earlier videos I've done or other people you probably watched, you can know the tank site wasn't like zoomed all the way in as it is now. It actually would look like kind of how the commander view is. So I think they compromised on that. I don't really have an issue with it. I kind of adapted to it. Now moving on with improvements. Locations and missions. So the new mission, Ministry Garden Assault, has been added to the Battle of Berlin. So that's pretty much what I was talking about, Ministry Garden with the Hitler's bunker and all that. That definitely fixed that map. That map was insane. Additional cover has been added for the missions Leonov, Bunov, Invasion and Conquest, and Ministry Guardian Invasion. So it's basically just giving more variety to these maps in Berlin, which I would say is very needed. The only thing I saw right now was playing yesterday and everything was Conquest and Invasion. So I think adding Assault and just spicing up the maps and the spawns definitely make it a lot better, and I think it's kind of cooler. In order to improve balance system of awarding respawn points has been adjusted when the point has been captured by an attacking team in the Invasion and Assault game modes. And basically going down here, I'm not going to read it all because I'm not going to insult your intelligence, but basically the bottom line up front with this patch for Berlin is they kind of just made the quality of life a little better, especially with other maps like Moscow and stuff like that. They're just they're just basically fixing Invasion, kind of making it more balanced, and that's kind of important when you're playing this. Like, as you noticed before, sometimes there's really one-sided to defenders or attackers and stuff like that. So now it's just kind of making universal across the board. So that's kind of really important, and it's kind of cool that they're going ahead and doing it. And yeah, they're just basically balancing a lot of the maps, as you can see here, reading the patch notes. So that's kind of cool. They kind of adjusted the respawn points in Normandy and Berlin and Moscow. So it's kind of a universal patch. This is a quality of life. Vehicles, we kind of already talked about it, but kind of like, I guess the interesting thing is I haven't tested this out yet, but the T-60, the gunner now has the ability to climb out of the hatch, and the control of the cannon and turret will be disabled during the process. So I wonder if there's an animation for that or not. If you've played it and you've seen it, comment down below. It'd be interesting to kind of check that out. But yeah, basically the quality of life with tanks is now, my opinion, they took that gunner sight and they went and adjusted it. So there's that. Gameplay and other changes. So basically now, I did notice they did do a fire rate nerf for the PPSS 42 and PPS 43. I kind of felt like a nerf for the Battle of Berlin pre-order. I think it was a PPD 40 or whatever for the USSR. I kind of felt that was kind of, that assault squad was kind of, that weapon was kind of nerfed just because the TTK on it wasn't really that good. At least unless it's, the close quarters it would melt some people, but in long range distances it kind of struggled. So that's kind of my take from that. But basically now, going with the battle pass, or how you do the battle passes, every task is going to give you a star. Basically, once you complete that star, 3 tasks equals just a progression point, and just moving from there, it's pretty simple because it was kind of confusing how it was done before. But basically, it's just a UI update, and it's just helping make the game a lot easier and stuff like that. Now moving on with fixes. So the grenades will now not explode immediately in the hands of a killed soldier. They will explode after time. So I don't know if you noticed sometimes when you're playing, enemy soldier would be running around and then you just go throw a grenade and they just blow up, right, when you kill them. So they kind of fixed that, which is kind of important in my opinion. Basically, they say long call sign names now on the soldier cards and the briefing screen will now fit it correctly. So there's that, trying to fit everyone's big username in there. But yeah, they say they fixed AI soldiers becoming stuck in some areas, and they try to fix AI sliding on steep surfaces. I don't really see that big of a deal with it. Basically, this patch, my opinion, it's just a quality of life. If you notice too, with me running around here with the Battle of Berlin Premium Assault Squad or whatever, you can see when I'm getting kills now. It gives you this little plus point thing that's next to the kill feed on the right, and it's telling you how you're doing and stuff like that. So, but now we're going to switch over to the gameplay. Kind of want to do a 2-in-1. This is kind of just the eve or the dawn before the event starts. So if you want like gameplay of the event or whatever, let me know. I can kind of just give you a quick recap or Bungle's quick after action review on the battle. But as you can see here in this map, what I'm trying to do is just try to congest the Germans, like catch them, because they'll be coming in from the area I'm aiming at right now, right? And they're trying to throw grenades and everything like that. So this guy is just going to keep running around suiciding. So what I'm using right now, too, is the PPSH box. So the box, if you see that when you unlock it or anything, it's basically just it's not a drum mag, it's just your regular magazine. Not really a big difference. It's just that the drum mag is just going to be, you're going to have way more rounds. So you can just hold down the trigger and just, unleash into the enemy. And you see here too, I also like the SVT. When we talk about that semi-auto kill thing, it's a hard time deciding is the SVT good or if I rather take the M1 carbine out, because they're both good weapons in my opinion, especially with the potential to one tap. I think the SVT has a higher chance of doing so, and usually I like to run them, as riflemen in my squad. I'm trying to work on grinding this squad out and maxing it out. So right now, as you can see, may not be optimal with having a machine gun or an engineer in it. But when you're trying to grind out your squads, I think putting an SVT 40, especially for the Battle of Berlin campaign, is actually going to go and do wonders and kind of help you out in the long run. Now, moving here too, as you can see, sometimes an issue, I don't know if it's bots or if it's actually your teammates doing this, but you will sometimes have people run in front of you, and it kind of gets a little frustrating when you're trying to just play the game, because it's just, we got people running in front of your shots and everything like that, and nothing you can really do to it. And I kind of suicide panic, throw this grenade at the last minute, trying to take them out. And I'm also trying to do these tasks that they have for the battle pass, so I'm trying to balance it out, what I'm going to do exactly. Now, here's kind of a good example. I know some people asked, Bungle, how do you play the engineer? Well, the engineer class is probably one of my most favorite classes in the game, just because of the adaptability of it. It's not really restricted to playing one way. And what I mean by that is the equipment you get to build, spawn points especially, are going to help you with getting top in your team. And the reason why it's going to get you top of your team is because building those spawn points, you're going to accumulate points. And you'll see it too when I build it, that you'll have people spawning in and then giving me plus signs and stuff like that, saying, oh, here you go, Bungle, here's some free points to get you to be number one in your team. So this is also what's going to go set me, kind of seal my fate as being top of my team, is building this anti-aircraft gun. And maybe you watching this can kind of take some tips and trips from Bungle here and use it. But usually you want to set this up right here. I learned it the other day. It actually does pretty well, just because it covers so much areas of where the German teams are coming from. And a little trick too is this AA gun can shoot right through the barriers and knock it down. So if you got those barriers just blocking the way, you can either throw C4 at it or demos or whatever, or you can just use the flat gun like I'm using and just mow down the enemy team. So as you can see here, I just basically took out a good majority of them. And my frustrations, again, they say they fixed the AI, but the AI, once again, is just, walking right next to my weapon, which is just like, what? Like, why? So, and what's frustrating is that sometimes it switches back and forth. And what you're going to see me here try to do is take out this Panzer IV. And this is why I like the engineer class, just because, I can build machine guns, I can build anti-tank guns, I can literally switch on the fly and adjust. And this is the premium squad, which, I'll look at reviewing if anyone's watching at this point, which, like I said, YouTube doesn't lie. I think I'm talking to myself at this point. But anyways, you can see here, it's kind of frustrating because I guess I don't know if the shell isn't that strong or what, but I'm shooting that Panzer IV on the shot side. I took out two of his crew. It didn't do much. I was just like, whatever. So now I'm going to move away. I think my bot got trapped, and, he said in the update, oh, we fixed it or whatever, but no, nothing really happened. And, I went down there because I guess a BF-109 flew by and dropped off a 50-kilogram bomb. I'm trying to wait for that tank to show back up, but I think he kind of went away to lick his wounds. So I'm going to move back. I got killed earlier just because they snuck around and killed me because I got frustrated. And that's a thing you learn too. If you're playing a tank or you're doing this, like building a machine gun nest or something like that, and you start killing people, most of the time someone's going to go Metal Gear Solid, Revenge, Rambo on you, like go across the map to hunt you down and take you out. Like, I guarantee it, any game mode, if you're playing Berlin, Normandy, Moscow, there's always going to be that one person that is going to get, I guess they say take it personal, but they will go out of their own way to go hunt you down and take you out. And as you can see here earlier, that one guy went literally around the map to go and, kill me from my gun emplacement. And, teammates just stood there and just let it happen. So it was just kind of surprising. But doing it here, I'm just waiting for them to push up. I'm trying to shoot in their spawn or just, shoot as much as I can because they got spawn protection, but I think I was hitting a gun emplacement they put up there earlier. So I'm surprised they weren't using that to like counter what I'm trying to do because that looks like an anti-tank gun, but I don't know. Let's see what's going on here. Nope. I'm seeing some gunfire. I'm going to go put some gun emplacements fire into them just to go and knock them out. But this is what you want to do when you're playing the engineer class. Get yourself in a good position, build your... So preferably, it's a hit or miss, but the machine gun nest isn't actually that good in my opinion. If I had a choice between a machine gun nest or playing the anti-aircraft, I take the anti-aircraft because one, you get kind of protection from snipers and stuff like that. Because you see they're trying to hit the AA gun and I run out of ammo here. So that's like, I don't know if it's a bug or maybe I'm just not playing this right. But you can't, for whatever reason, refill that ammo. Like it says, go to a spawn point to refill your ammo. And it's like, even if you build a spawn or an ammo box next to it, you can't resupply it. So I don't know if that's a bug or if that's just the way it is. So that's why I went ahead and built the second one. But yeah, this just does way much more reliable than the machine gun nest just because the fact that you can basically hang out and deal as much damage as you can. And the only way you're going to die is someone gets a lucky sniper shot on you, someone, sneaks around and kills you, or they try to, blow you up. Like, a tank can take you out in one shot, of course, or someone tries to run up and throw a demo pack at you and lands it just right to blow you up. But, generally, if you put it in a good position, just like I have right now, mowing down the enemy team, you rack up points, you basically are kind of in a good spot to help your team advance. And, hopefully we can push in here and try to turn the tide of this battle and win. Now, as you see, I don't know if it's bot population or what. I know one of the things I talked about is player retention and bots. And I know a common thing is there's a lot of bots in games. So I don't know if it's like a Titanfall thing. If you play Titanfall 1 or Titanfall 2, I think Titanfall 1 was really good at kind of that. You would have bots running around everywhere. So I don't know if it's like an enlisted thing where half the team's bots or whatever, or partial bots, but as you can notice, a lot of them just running around are kind of, I don't know if it's players doing it, if that's just how they are, or if it's bots, because you can see they're not really moving in any coherent manner. They're just kind of standing up, standing down. And when you're trying to aim sometimes with AA guns or gun emplacements and they're getting in the way, it just kind of it gets a little frustrating because you're like, come on, guy, you're blocking my shot. But yeah, I'm just popping some shots here and there. I'm just trying, because we just captured this. So usually when you just capture an objective, and this is in any game mode with conquest, invasion, not really conquest, but invasion and assault, the enemy's going to hang around the recently captured objective probably for a good minute or two. So you have a high potential of running into the next enemy. So I don't know what I was getting shot at there earlier. I don't know if it was the anti-aircraft gun or the anti-tank gun that I was shooting at earlier. But now I'm going to try to build a spawn point. And, spawn points are definitely what's going to help you get on top of your team. And definitely building that in areas where, what I'm doing here, you don't want it too far away, but you want it close enough that it can be easily, your enemy's not going to go out their own way of finding it and then taking it out. Because an enemy player most of the time is going to go take out your spawn point if they see it, or they can tell a lot of enemies coming out. Now, you're going to see me here build a machine gun nest. Now, I'm not building the machine gun nest because it's a preference, I want to build it. If I had a choice, I would build my anti-aircraft gun, but those two are already built. Now, I should have went back and dismounted them and then built my machine gun nest. Not really build it, but, just build another anti-aircraft gun. But I didn't choose to do that because, we're kind of just pushing in and I'm trying to help and support my team as best as I can. Now, as you notice with the machine gun, it doesn't go and cut through the barriers or sandbags like the AA gun does, right? So there's already a downside with using a machine gun, right? It's kind of limited to doing, just what a regular MG would do. And this is MG42. Now this is beta, so right now, universally, everyone gets MG42, but I imagine down the road they're going to go change it where, you get the Soviet version, you get this version, the US version, etc. So as you can see, my teammates are blowing up the barrier, so I'm getting more and more kills, just suppressing fire and trying to pinpoint the enemies. And this is kind of my argument that I was saying earlier, right? I'm playing on a 1440p monitor, right? So it's a lot easier for me to kind of spot at longer distances the enemy moving around. Whereas if I'm playing on a 1920 by 1080p 60 hertz monitor, like I was having a way more difficult time playing on that. And maybe it's user preference. If you can make it work, good for you. But personally, like I said, I feel like playing 1440p, definitely playing with 144 or higher FPS, or getting past 60 is going to it really does change your perspective. And they managed to take me out there, shoot me. I'm trying to see if I can build this, but I can't just because I already have 2 built, and they go and take me out again. So Bungle just messed up and just screwed up and should just uninstall. But we're going to go switch now to the premium Berlin squad. So this is what I was talking about earlier, and I felt like they kind of nerfed it a little bit just because the damage didn't really seem the same as it was before. I know those weapons, they said they kind of balanced and stuff, wasn't really related to it, but I mean, I know here and there in some games they do hidden nerfs here and there, so not to put my tinfoil hat on and stuff like that, but kind of wouldn't surprise me if they went and just, messed around a little bit with it. So that guy suicides, tries to throw a grenade. I managed to run in here. Now I'm looking, there's like 2 gun emplacements, so I'm going to try to take one out. I managed to switch just in time to kill this guy, so I was kind of like, whoa. I'm going to pop around the corner here. I'm trying to get pop shots on that engineer, or that guy that's trapped in that AA gun, but that doesn't work. I'm going to go switch here because, my guy's already wounded and he just dies. I'm just mowing down the enemy team, putting as much fire as I can in here, and then that anti-aircraft gun's in there. So not really much I can do at this point against that. I mean, I'm trying throwing grenades and everything in there and not really doing much. So I'm going to go switch to another squad. I'm going to go with my backup squad. And I like playing assault for Berlin. And the reason why you want to play assault for Berlin mostly, I mean, maybe you can play the machine gunner, but I feel assault's the best just because of the close quarters combat. This is an exclusive campaign where most of the combat is close quarters. Here and there, some maps can be a little ranged, but personally, like, you want to play it just because you're going to have the mobility, the rate of fire, and kind of the adaptability to read the battlefield and do things to the best of your ability. And you can see here I was mowing them down to that AA gun, managed to snipe me. Now I'm going to move here to my next backup assault, and we're going to try to push in. Now this is the PPSH box, right? So it does the same thing as a regular PPSH, but it's not a drum mag. I'm going to try to take this out again and fail at it, but it's on me. And probably the best way I could have done it is try to push up forward where everyone was assaulting and try to go around. But this is, again, with the SVT-40. I feel it's a really good semi-auto rifle, just with its potential to take out opponents. Now we're going to go switch back to the engineer class. I'm going to see if I can build at least something to counter the enemy team. We're running low on reinforcements too, so it's not looking too hot for us right now. And you can see my teammates are spawning in too on my spawn point. I can't really build anything, so I'm going to switch here to this anti-tank gun. You're going to kind of see something interesting. Now, this is the Berlin premium squad, right? So the gun I'm building, the gun emplacement, is a 75 millimeter pack gun. Okay, so what's the difference, Bungle? What's the difference between this and, Normandy and all that? Well, it's pretty simple. This one's a 75 millimeter gun, so this is something that's like on the Panther or on the Panzer IV, right? So the higher the caliber, especially now I'm loading HE, as you can see, you can actually start doing a lot more damage. And the thing is, if you try to play, let's say, the 57 millimeter in Normandy and stuff like that, you realize, yeah, you're gonna have to line the shot up and hit someone straight on to actually do any damage. But here, you notice I'm kind of just firing and I'm getting splash damage kills, and that's what was interesting to me, is that, hey, since this is late war, World War II and stuff like that, now you're getting kind of top-of-the-line stuff. So we're using a pack gun that's able basically to act like a tank gun, with us able to go and kind of decimate the enemy team. So it's kind of a cool factor. Definitely so far, my impressions of this Berlin squad has been very, very flexible. I'm not a fan of the primary weapon that they're using. I think it's the SKS or whatever, just because it's 5 rounds in the magazine. and you can kind of burn through ammo really, really quickly here. So you have to be careful. As you see right there, I got a multi-kill. Just like I said, using my monitor and everything, I'm able to see an enemy and just nail them. And, it's surprising that you're able to do this with even a anti-tank gun. And this is kind of what I was talking about earlier. Teammates are blocking the way, so I can't really get a good shot off because they're all just running as a freight train. So, yeah, I'm just trying to nail them as much as I can as I'm expending my ammo. But general thoughts right now of the premium squad for the Berlin, especially the engineer. On the Soviet side, like I said, the adaptability is the best thing about the engineer class. Being able to adjust on the fly, probably one of the most crucial and important classes in the game, just because one has supporting capabilities, but it also can be offensive as well. But if you know how to play it, if you're playing it how I play it, where you set it up in certain choke points, like right now this is a choke point, right? Because right down the road, right in front of me in that window where all the enemies spawning from, that's like their main area they're coming from. So I'm able to kind of constantly put fire there. Now, as you notice, since we're basically out of people to spawn in, that the enemy team now is going to be more and more they're going to keep spawning, and they're going to put pressure on us. So basically at this point, I think I'm like the lone survivor, or almost lone survivor. So I'm going to switch at the last minute here and try to build a machine gun nest, because they're all going to come just charging down the middle, and try to take out as many as I can on Bungle's final stand. But let's see, like who's around at this point in this video. I think there's like no one around, right? No one's around, right? Hashtag Bungle smelly socks if you're actually watching at this point, which I know most people aren't. So as you see there, I put my final stand, I shoot my machine gun to defeat I'm going to run. And here's the end cap, right? Finishing first on my team, getting a good XP boost. And basically, at the end of the day, I feel equipment really does matter. If you have, better equipment and stuff like that, it's definitely going to affect your ability to play the game. But we'll see how tomorrow goes. I wish everyone the best of luck. If you want more content about those events or just kind of like a recap, let me know. I'll do a quick video on it. Other than that, I hope you all have a great day. Take care.